You talk to yourself in the grocery store. You feel bad when you accidentally bump into a chair. You'd rather text a novel than make a phone call. Everyone thinks you're weird. But what if I told you these quirks aren't flaws? They're actually signs of a high-functioning brain. Today we're diving into 8 strange habits that brilliant minds share, and why your weirdness might be your superpower. The self-talk genius. Let's start with something you probably do but never admit. You talk to yourself. Not just thinking, actually moving your lips, having full conversations with the voice in your head. Here's the thing though, you're not going crazy. You're doing something psychologists call externalized self-talk, and it's basically giving your brain a performance boost. Think about it. When you're trying to solve a complex problem, talking through it out loud forces you to organize your thoughts in a linear way. It's like having a conversation with a really smart friend who happens to be you. Einstein was famous for this. He'd walk around Princeton mumbling equations under his breath. Professional athletes do it constantly. You'll see tennis players giving themselves pep talks between points. They're not being dramatic. They're literally programming their brains for better performance. Research from the University of Wisconsin found that people who engage in self-talk perform significantly better on cognitive tasks. When you verbalize your thought process, you're creating what researchers call a cognitive loop. Your brain gets to hear its own logic and catch mistakes in real time. So next time someone gives you a weird look for talking to yourself in the parking lot, just remember, you're not weird, you're optimizing. The object whisperer. Here's another one that might hit close to home. You apologize to inanimate objects. You say sorry when you bump into a door. You feel genuinely bad when you have to throw away an old coffee mug that's been with you for years. Most people think this is childish, but psychologists have a different name for it: anthropomorphism. And it's actually linked to higher levels of empathy and creativity. Your brain is so good at understanding emotions and motivations that it automatically applies these skills to everything around you. It's like having emotional intelligence that's turned up to 11. This isn't just harmless quirk either. People who anthropomorphize objects tend to be better at understanding other people's feelings. They're more creative problem solvers because they can imagine scenarios from multiple perspectives, even perspectives that don't technically exist. Pixar has made billions of dollars off this exact trait. Movies like Toy Story and Cars work because some people naturally see personality in everything. That's not weird. That's the foundation of creative genius. The eternal outsider. Even in a room full of friends, you sometimes feel like you're watching everything from behind glass. You notice things others miss, the way someone's voice changes when they're lying, how group dynamics shift when one person leaves the room. This feeling of being an outsider isn't social anxiety. It's pattern recognition on steroids. Highly intelligent people often experience what psychologists call cultural frame switching. Your brain is constantly analyzing social situations, picking up on unspoken rules, and questioning why things work the way they do. While everyone else is participating in the conversation, you're simultaneously having a meta conversation about the conversation. You're not antisocial. You're just operating on multiple levels at once. This is actually a crucial skill for innovation. Every major breakthrough in human history came from someone who could step outside the accepted way of thinking and see patterns others missed. That outsider feeling? That's your brain refusing to accept things at face value. The idea empath. You don't just think about concepts, you feel them. When someone presents a logical fallacy, it doesn't just seem wrong to you, it actually causes you physical discomfort. Injustice doesn't just bother you, it keeps you awake at night. This emotional connection to abstract ideas is called moral intensity, and it's way more common in people with higher IQs. Your brain doesn't separate logic from emotion the way most people do. When you encounter a contradiction or something that violates your sense of how things should work, your emotional centers light up just as much as your rational ones. This is why debates feel so personal to you. You're not just defending an opinion, you're defending something you genuinely care about on a deep level. Other people might see this as being too sensitive, but really you're just running a high-resolution moral operating system. The digital communicator, you'll write a 500-word text message before you'll make a 2-minute phone call. You prefer email to meetings. You'd rather have important conversations through writing than face-to-face. People assume this means you're antisocial or anxious, but there's actually a deeper reason. Intelligent minds often prefer written communication because it allows for precision and reflection. When you're talking in real time, you're under pressure to respond immediately. But when you're writing, you can take time to choose exactly the right words. You can edit. You can make sure your meaning is crystal clear. It's not about avoiding human contact. It's about optimizing for accuracy. Your brain values getting things right more than getting things fast. Studies show that people with higher verbal intelligence consistently prefer written communication for complex topics. It's not a social deficit, it's a cognitive preference. The justice warrior. Cheaters make your blood boil. Hypocrisy doesn't just annoy you, it breaks your brain. When you see someone getting credit for work they didn't do, or watch people ignore obvious problems, it feels like a personal attack on reality itself. This isn't you being difficult or overly dramatic. You're experiencing what researchers call justice sensitivity, an acute awareness of fairness that's directly linked to intelligence. Your brain is constantly running calculations about how things should work versus how they actually work. When there's a mismatch, it creates genuine cognitive dissonance. It's like being a computer that's constantly detecting errors in the code. This trait often makes intelligent people seem argumentative or confrontational, but really you're just trying to maintain logical consistency in a world that often doesn't make sense. The emotional radar. You pick up on every shift in mood. You notice when someone's smile doesn't reach their eyes. You can tell when a text message has a different tone than usual, even when the words are exactly the same. This hyper-awareness of emotional subtleties isn't anxiety. It's your brain operating at maximum sensitivity. You're processing social information at a level most people can't even perceive. The downside is that you can't turn it off. You're constantly receiving emotional data whether you want it or not. But the upside is incredible. You understand people in a way that borders on telepathic. This emotional intelligence often comes with high cognitive intelligence. Your brain is so good at pattern recognition that it applies those skills to human behavior, reading micro-expressions and vocal tones like other people read street signs. The deep diver. You disappear for days at a time, diving deep into random topics that fascinate only you. One week you're obsessed with medieval architecture. The next, you're learning everything about quantum physics or the history of punctuation. You create systems for organizing things that make perfect sense to you but seem bizarre to everyone else. Color-coding methods that would make Marie Kondo dizzy. Filing systems based on emotional associations rather than alphabetical order. People call this scattered or unfocused, but it's actually the opposite. You're building what cognitive scientists call knowledge networks, complex webs of information that allow for creative connections others can't see. These deep dives aren't procrastination. They're your brain's way of gathering raw materials for insights that might not come for months or years. Every seemingly random thing you learn becomes part of a massive database your mind can draw from when solving problems. The pattern behind the weird. So, what do all these habits have in common? 3 things: deep processing, emotional awareness, and pattern sensitivity. While most people skim the surface of life, your brain is constantly drilling down, looking for connections, and feeling the emotional weight of what it discovers. What society calls weird is actually neurodivergent brilliance in action. These aren't character flaws you need to fix. They're cognitive upgrades that come with the territory of having a brain that refuses to settle for simple answers. If you recognize yourself in even a few of these habits, you're not broken or socially awkward. You're just built different. Your mind operates on frequencies most people can't tune into. The world needs people who talk to themselves while solving problems, who feel genuine empathy for inanimate objects, who notice patterns others miss, and who care so deeply about ideas that they lose sleep over logical inconsistencies. Don't try to fix the weird, own it. Because genius isn't always the loudest person in the room. Sometimes it's the quiet one rewriting emails at 2 a.m. to make sure every word is exactly right. Which of these weird habits do you secretly have? Drop it in the comments and subscribe for more truths that challenge what normal really means.